Welcome to Let's Talk Nourishment, where we go beyond food and into the habits that truly nourish. I'm Abigail Parker, nutritional therapy practitioner, here to help you simplify wellness. I think we all can agree there is one question that no one wants to be asked. What's for dinner? There is a commercial right now where it's a high school graduation and someone is giving the commencement speech and she is talking about all of the things that your education has not prepared you for. And one of them being asked what's for dinner every day for the rest of your life, which is so true. We don't learn anything about meal planning whenever we go to high school, but that is something that is a big part of life, is figuring out what is going to be for dinner forever. For me, I lived with my parents until I got married. I moved out basically on my wedding and went on my honeymoon, came home, moved into my house with Zach, and I can still remember going to the grocery store for the first time. And it was so overwhelming at that point, realizing that I had to fill a house with food and figure out what we were going to be eating. I've luckily come a long way from that. I won't say I enjoy meal planning, but I enjoy cooking and I enjoy talking about food. And so now, of course, it's something that I am helping people with on a regular basis. Every client I work with, I am talking about meal planning because food is going to play a role in how you're feeling each and every day. And it comes down to whenever you are wanting to improve your health, eating better is a key part of that. It doesn't matter if you are trying to lose weight, you want to lower your cholesterol or your blood pressure, or if you are struggling with diabetes, trying to figure out how to manage that. We can go on and on with things that can be helped thanks to your diet. So, meal planning is huge, but it can be something that's very overwhelming because it's on repeat. What's for dinner? Whether it is you asking yourself that question, it is a spouse or a significant other asking, it is your child. Nobody enjoys having to figure out what's for dinner each and every day. And when you are trying to eat better, it is something that can add to the overwhelm because the fact that you're not just planning for yourself, you're often planning for other people in your life. And so you may understand this is how I want to eat, but that may not be how the other people in your house are wanting to eat. So it can complicate things a little bit more when you're trying to do meal planning and you are feeding other people as well. And I truly believe that when you are eating better, it benefits everybody in your immediate circle because the food that you're making for yourself is then going to be passed on to the other people in your house as well. And what you're learning for yourself benefits everybody else as well. You get to talk about what you're learning and what you're eating. So, meal planning is a key in success to eating better. Well, one of the things that I think is very important when we talk about meal planning and taking away the overwhelm is that you're not doing it day of. When it comes to being asked what's for dinner, there is a lot more frustration when you don't have a plan in place and you're being asked that question. Trying to put something together after you have had a stressful day or you've been on your feet all day, you don't want to have to stand and cook, it makes it a lot worse than if you already have a plan in place. When you do your meal planning in advance, it's like you're making this commitment to yourself of this is what I'm going to be having. And it makes it a lot easier to stick with, right? When we have a plan in place. So it doesn't matter if you like to plan the day before or a few days at a time or a week in advance. I've had a client that wanted to plan a month. whatever you decide is going to work for you, I just always stress that importance of planning in advance, not the same day. Whenever you are creating meal plans too and you're trying to eat better, you don't need to do anything fancy. You don't need to make everything fresh. You just make it what fits your needs. Whenever I first started cooking, I definitely was not cooking in a way that I cook now. It's evolved as I've gotten more confident in the kitchen. I've gotten more confident with my cooking, and so you always are just meeting yourself where you're at now, because the good thing is that changes. We change and we get more comfortable the more we do something. So instead of looking at it as what you should be doing, it's really important to decide what actually is realistic for you. That's what's going to be key. That's what you're going to be able to stick with. So making it something that is manageable for you. Now, I have been using ChatGPT to help make meal planning more manageable for me lately. And this is something that I never dreamed I would be sharing, because months ago, I was very against ChatGPT and AI. I was dead set I would never use it, because to me, it was taking away from my brain thinking, it was taking away my creativity, and something shifted that I realized that it actually is helpful to save my time and my energy. I didn't realize what all it can do. And ChatGPT for meal planning can be a game changer. I got into it especially because I am gluten and dairy free right now, as I am working to support my sluggish thyroid. So when I'm doing my meal planning, it can be a little bit more overwhelming whenever you are trying to meet those dietary restrictions. And it makes it very easy for me then to put into ChatGPT that I'm looking for meals that are gluten and dairy free. If you've never used ChatGPT before, or an AI tool, it's really cool because it's like a conversation. If you go to a standard search engine, you are putting in a question and you're scrolling, hoping to find the answer that you need. But if you go to ChatGPT, you get to actually have that conversation and get the answer that you're looking for right there without having to search. You get to be able to help it to get where you are needing to go. So with ChatGPT, you can do things like come up with meal ideas based on ingredients you already have in your house. If you don't want to go to the store, you can tell ChatGPT, I have chicken and I have rice. Help me put together a meal. And maybe it comes back and it says that there's mushrooms in here. And you're like, well, I don't have mushrooms. Can you give me something that doesn't have mushrooms and uses green beans instead, just plugging a food in. So you get to figure out based on what you have a meal, makes it really fun. You can also ask for simple ideas, like maybe you know that you want to start taking lunch to work, but you need a cold lunch option. You don't want something that you're going to have to heat up. So you can tell ChatGPT, give me a meal that I can meal prep for work that is cold and I don't have to heat up. And so it can really be tailored to meet your needs for that, or it can tailor to meet your needs, like I talked about with being gluten free, dairy free. If there's a food that you just don't like, you don't like mushrooms, you can say, don't include anything with mushrooms. You can get specific to what you're needing. And then it can be really fun too if you are somebody that likes to cook simple meals. Say, give me a list of 5 meals that only include 5 ingredients. The simple meals are my favorite meals because whenever it's simple, it makes it so that it's an easy thing to do. I don't have to put a lot of thought into it. I don't have to take a lot of time. And it always manages to taste good when you're not throwing a lot of stuff in there, I think. It also can be fun that you can have themed nights. If you are somebody that likes Mexican food, you can have Mexican every Tuesday, a Taco Tuesday, and it can give you ideas for that to make your meal planning even easier if you want to do theme nights that way. It can be really interesting what you get out of ChatGPT. And that's the thing is it is a tool to help you. So essentially, the more specific you're giving information, the more specific, the more tailored to meet your needs, you're going to get back from it. So it is really nice, again, compared to a search engine, that you're going to get more specific for your what you're looking for. And so it's really fun then once you start to play around and get used to it, you can use the same prompts every week to get information out of it. So for me, every week I'm going in there and I'm asking for 7 dinners that are not low carb, that don't contain gluten or dairy. And then I also love to ask about including summer produce as a great tip, because every season you're going to have different produce that is fresh. So with being summer right now, I love all the summer produce, and being able to put into ChatGPT to include that makes it a lot easier that I don't have to think about what's in season right now. Summer especially is really nice because there's so much variety compared to in the winter. Using ChatGPT to ask about winter produce can be a lot more helpful since there's not as much to help improve the variety that you're eating. And that's a pro tip too. In whenever you're eating, whenever you're meal planning, to do in season produce, because it makes it so you don't get quite as bored. I love to use asparagus as the example. Asparagus is kind of getting out of season now. It's more a spring food. So if you're only eating asparagus every spring, then you get really excited when asparagus is back in season again. So including that extra variety by eating what's in season as opposed to eating it all year round, like you might eat eggs all year round. Now, if you are somebody who struggles with meal planning, sometimes it can take me a long time to meal plan. If I'm on my own, I might sit there for an hour and try to decide what I want to eat. This can be something that's really helpful to so you can just plug in and get meals spit back out at you, and all of a sudden your meal planning is done in 10 minutes. It also can be more fun where you get to try some different foods. Maybe you're used to eating the same things over and over. This will be where you can even tell ChatGPT, these are meals that I like to eat if you can give me something different. Or you can say, these are meals that I like to eat if you can give me something similar. It'll help to change it up. I've done that before and it's combined, like inspired by your love of tacos and your love of spaghetti. Just throwing the first two things that come out of my mind. But it'll plug in like 2 different meals and create something different based on the fact that you like these foods. It also can really be helpful when it comes to grocery shopping, because not only is it going to help with your meal planning, it's going to help with your ingredients as well. It's going to be able to tell you these are the ingredients you need in order to make these meals. So it is going to save you multiple grocery trips and making it so that you are not forgetting something, that you have this list based on the foods that you're going to be making. And really, meal planning in general, but making it easier with ChatGPT is helpful to save you from those nights where you just don't know what to eat and you're going to be searching out food at going out to eat or getting takeout instead. It's going to make it so that you are feeling more proud of yourself for actually cooking and eating at home, because often when it comes to trying to eat better, that can be the biggest barrier for people, is just trying to figure out how to eat at home more. And so utilizing ChatGPT for your meal planning can be something that makes that more manageable for you. Now, I have a guide for doing ChatGPT meal planning. It is 10 ChatGPT prompts for stress-free meal planning. So I have 10 prompts that you can plug in to make meal planning successful. My favorite prompt from the guide is give me 3 one pot or sheet pan meals that are easy to make and clean up quickly, because I don't know about you, but I love it when I don't have to make a big mess in the kitchen, because it's quicker both to cook and it's quicker to clean up. So one pot or sheet pan meals are my favorite, especially this time of year. Making just a one pot meal so I'm not heating my house up as much is awesome. I love that during the summer versus in the winter. I am going to be all for a sheet pan meal, having the oven on. So if you're interested in the guide, 10 ChatGPT prompts for stress-free meal planning, if you think that this would be helpful, the answer yes. You can visit nourishedrevival.com/free to download that. And I also will have that link in the description for this episode. So you can just click it and you can go and get that. So if you want to get started with meal planning with ChatGPT's help, definitely, I think, check out that guide to make things a lot easier. Now, with that, so I am working with one-on-one clients. I mentioned that every client I'm working with, I am talking about meal planning and food. But as of July 15th, I will no longer be taking new clients. I am going to be switching over to a group program that is coming out in August. And the emphasis of this group program I'm going to be doing is on meal planning and taking the stress out of eating healthy. If you're somebody who has been stuck in kind of the all or nothing eating cycle where you are eating healthy, you're planning meals at home, you're doing great, and then something happens that you're stressed out and you kind of go back into old habits and you're feeling like you need to get back on track. Definitely that is the person I'm creating this for. This will be really helpful for you. So that program is soon to come. In it, I am going to be talking a lot more, obviously, about meal planning and sharing my confident eating formula, where if you are eating at home, if you're going out to eat, if you're eating on vacation, it does not matter. You can feel good about the food that you're eating at any point. It doesn't matter, home or away. So be sure to tune in, as I am going to be sharing more about that group program in the coming weeks. But right now, be sure to go ahead and get that meal planning guide so that you can get started feeling more comfortable with your meals, taking away the stress of that. I always talk about, whenever it comes to eating healthy, it doesn't matter how healthy you eat. If it's stressful, it doesn't matter. And when it comes to meal planning, if you are stressing yourself out trying to meal plan and then not being able to do it because you are already overwhelmed by life and you're eating out more and you're stressed out by that, it's not good all around. And so being able to meal plan with more confidence and ease is something that can be really helpful. So this is your reminder that meal planning and eating healthy should not be overwhelming, and let ChatGPT be something that essentially helps you get started with ease.